Good evening, ladies and gents. It's Crash Clinic, and we're back again weekly. I've got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight, of course. So, yeah, it's some. You've probably seen some posts that I have been putting up. Some interesting stuff there that I wanted to talk about. Wanted to bring to the attention of you guys, because there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on right now. So. I'm going to start off, obviously, I'm a little bit disjointed as I've only just got back into sort of the swing of things because of what happened to me last year, losing my brother and business partner. So I am getting there, though, and I've started to get the interest back in again to this wonderful line of business that we are all in, of course. But it's still, I think, for the life of me and the life of this industry, will always confuse us and infuriate us, I suppose I should say, because of the way insurers are. Yes, you insurers, and I'm going to tell you why now. Love you, but hate you. It's like that. It's a love-hate relationship, isn't it, with insurers? And I'm sure I'm not the only one. So, yeah, I've got some interesting things to talk about today. But what I did do is I forgot to take the polls down to place them on the screen. So you'll have to bear with me. What I'm going to try and do is bring in my LinkedIn page. I just hope it doesn't get any interference, because it's on that page that we've got the discussions. But before I go into those, I am going to tell you that in the next coming weeks, I've got some really interesting stuff coming up. And when I say really interesting stuff, because I'm involved in a lot of different areas of this business. I like to say I know a lot about the non-fault side, the fault side, and I'm connected to quite a lot of people and quite a lot of services that give me information. And the start of this year has blown me away already with what's going on in the industry. So I'm here to try and give you guys an insight into that. Now, we're all aware of non-fault accidents, of course, and accident claims, and all the controversy over the years that's happened with that, and how insurers seem to absolutely hate non-fault accidents and claims. And they really do, or have been, hitting hard at the industry. Now, back in 2021, for those who don't know, I created the GTA, which is still there today. I didn't give it this long, to be fair. I only gave it 10 years, but it's lasted 20, which is good. But it's in real need of, or the industry is, as well as some huge changes to make it better. But we're at loggerheads again at the moment, which is the normal in this industry, where insurers, rather than get with us, and people like me have got the answers to fix the industry, rather than talk with us and find out how, they'd rather fight us and cost lots of money. Now, one thing I really don't get is solicitors. They use solicitors like mad to govern the industry at the moment, to fight for the industry, and it must be costing them millions and millions and millions just in legal fees and solicitors' fees. But again, they're happier to do that than to give money to us accident repair centres. So I'm going to start by just letting you know that what I am going to cover over the next few weeks is insurers are looking to save money. I've seen a few things where they've sort of stated, I'm just reading one here now, that says, what's driving motor claims inflation? I'm pretty sure you guys have got some good ideas as well as me. The one company here is saying that the average repair has gone up to £5,349. I can seriously remember back in 2000, and I think it was 16, 15, when I was asked to compete for a new business model, and they gave me £789 as the average repair cost back then. Wow. So apparently now we've jumped up to an average repair cost of £5,349. I'm really interested, for those of you who like your stats. Do you agree with that? Do you think it's more? Do you think it's less? It'd be really interesting to find out, is that a realistic figure right now in the industry? £5,349. Now, it's the claims inflation, the repair inflation. They're blaming all sorts of things, as you know. We all know that it's been heavily impacted by Ukraine and Brexit and all the normal things. But then the insurers then come back down to personal injury claims, higher claims. And I'm going to blow your mind away with this, because obviously we're here for the repairers. They are blaming repairers yet again, as they always do. At the start of 2023, we all know that things have gone through the roof. We all know how expensive everything's become. But what can I say? They still blame the repairer. So they're still, and what's the problem with this is they're still looking to save costs from the repairer. That's what's kind of blown my mind here, is the fact that they're trying to save money from the repairer. So I'm going to get into that in a second for you. And I'm going to try and look at some stats, because I've been hearing that the car market's going down, it's going up, prices are going down, going up. The basic higher rates are going down. And I know for a fact that people I'm talking to are saying it's still hard to get parts, still hard to get cars. The price of a vehicle is still high enough. This is really interesting me, because over the years, what governs a total loss payout, and you've probably seen a couple of stats that I've put there. Insurers normally, from a total loss, have always sort of maintained that they pay out the market value of a vehicle. Now, I'm only going to presume that over time, yes, there's been a pattern for donkey's years. We all know that you buy a car today, and what happens historically, it devalues in price, and that's all vehicles, of course. So you can imagine you've just bought a vehicle, second-hand, new, doesn't matter. You've just paid 20 grand for a car. You know in 2 years' time it's going to be less. So even though you might insure that car for £20,000 right now, the insurers say they will pay you out the market value of the vehicle, because obviously that vehicle is going to be worth less in 2 years' time. So they don't want to give you your 20 grand back. Let's just say that car is worth 16 grand. They want to give you the 16,000. The way they got around that was by saying, we're going to give you the market value. So then they can do some research and prove that the car 2 years later is only worth between 16 and 18,000 pounds, of course. And I think we all accept that. And it's been accepted as the norm for a long, long time. People just accept that their vehicle is going to go down in price. However, what people seem to have missed at the moment is, and I'm experiencing this quite heavily at the moment, because I've got about 6 or 7 or 8 customers that have all got total loss claims, and friends, actually 2 are friends ones as well, so nearly up to 10. And I'm having major problems with all the claims. And the reason being is the valuations. Yes, you're right. The story I've just told you there, because of Brexit and everything else, we do know that vehicle prices at the moment are on an all-time high. So a vehicle you might have purchased 5 years ago might be worth the same value, because of the fact that we can't get cars. So this has caused, for me, a major problem with insurers that I'm seeing firsthand, because they go by the market value. So I'm looking at their new way of getting out of this, because that's what insurers do. So the market value of a car you bought 2 years ago, it may even be worth more on some occasions. I've had people tell me that their car is now worth more than what they've paid for it, because certain models you can't get hold of. There's limited demand, or limited stock, but a high demand, and that increases the price. Now, an insurer, will probably bounce back and say, we're only going to pay you now what you insured it for, because let's say you insured it for £20,000, and a year later it's worth 22 or 21 because you can't get that vehicle anymore. Now, what are insurers going to do? I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to pay out the market value now, because it's £1,000 more, etc. So it's quite an interesting thing at the moment, just for total loss claims. But in the middle of all this, the reason I've mentioned that is because as a repairer, we get a vehicle in, we store the vehicle, and then there are some charges to pay. Now, I've found 4, 5, 6 claims at the moment going on where the insurers don't want to pay the storage and the total loss, and it's all becoming messy, because the insurer is saying, I only want to pay you, for instance, £16,000 for that vehicle, but the customer's now saying, hey, hold on a minute, I can't replace that now because the car's now worth 21,000. So there's becoming that friction, and that takes time. So in that area of friction, we've got a delay, and in the area of delay becomes a poor repairer that's got a vehicle that needs paying for, and we've got now getting insurers that are saying, hey, we're not paying that, it's not our problem, it's gone on too long, blah de blah, all the usual excuses. And they're now trying to take, we've had one this week. How are we doing, Brett? Nice to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. We've now had one this week where the insurer has, 2 of them, sorry, where the insurer has now said to the customer, we're going to take off that's the value of the vehicle, the storage charges. So that then makes everything really awkward. So that alone to me is going to be something interesting over the next few weeks. Because I'm dealing with 8 to 10 total losses, I'm going to be really interested in the outcome of these, because all of them, the customers want more money. And in the middle of that, there's a repairer got a car stored that the insurer doesn't want to pay for because they're still arguing and don't want to pay out the correct amount of money. And I'd love to hear your opinions as well. What is the correct? Do you agree with what I've just said? So a vehicle now is worth more money because of the demand on vehicles. That's a known fact at the moment. There's limited vehicles out there. So vehicle prices are at an all-time high. So if you've got a car that's worth, let's just go say it's 10 grand, and you bought it last year, year before, but now it's still worth 10 grand, or it might be worth 11 grand. The insurers historically go for the market value or the caps. Caps will probably be the problem now because that's probably still going down in line with the way it used to at a certain percentage every month, every year. But the reality now is they're not going down. So I know insurers don't like to pay that. And most of their policies say we'll pay you the market value. So what do you think on that? If this is your car, you know you can't replace it for the historical HPI guide or caps guide because that goes down 20% every month or year or whatever it is. But you know your car's worth more. Would you accept it? Because it's creating the friction, creating the arguments in between that, where insurers are now trying to bill the customer for an element of that storage and recovery, which I think is outrageous. Have you got any cases like that? Have you come across anything like that? Please let me know, because it really is interesting. From Matthew, surely they failed to, how you doing, Matthew? Nice to have you on board again. Surely they failed to indemnify the customer against their losses by deducting. Well, this is something that I'm running 8 or 10 claims at the moment, Matthew. So it's very interesting that these friends of mine have got vehicles where they come to me for advice because they're saying, hey, you know, I can't settle the claim and it's all becoming messy. My opinion, the insurer should be indemnifying for the market value. But obviously they're gonna jump to whichever is the cheapest. If it's caps, if it's HPI, oh, this is the, you know. So it's going to be an interesting one to see, and I will update you as we go on weekly, because it's quite an interesting factor. It's no one's fault, of course, that the fact that the vehicles are now worth more money. It's the fact of the state of the economy and everything that's happened around the world. Everybody knows that. So insurers, stand up, pay the bills and pay them quickly, and help the whole situation is what you should be doing. But I know that's not the case. Anyway, moving on now to, I will go further in depth on all that over the next few weeks, because I find it quite interesting what's happening. But I'll put that one aside because I haven't finished my investigations on that yet. But what I am going to say is I also fell on an email from certain insurers in our industry. There are certain insurers, if you're aware of that the insurers, certain solicitors the insurers like to work with. And they work very closely together. And at the moment, it seems the solicitors are running the industry, in my opinion, which I think is wrong. And I think is a massive bugbear on the industry. And I probably think it's costing the industry more than anything. And if you want to talk about claims inflated, that is my own opinion, that is what's causing the major problems within our industry. Anyway, so I read this little abstract where the solicitors are talking to the insurers and giving them their information. They are telling their insurers to go for intervention. Get repairs into your own network. So they're basically telling these repairers or insurers who are already taking work and putting it into repair centres that are busting at the seams with 3 and 4 months waiting lists, and telling them to fill them with even more work. Put it into let's make it a 6-month waiting list. Why not? Because they think that's going to be part of the cure to reducing these average repair costs, which I don't, of course, not with all the waiting lists that are about. They're also saying again that this absolutely blew my mind. As a repairer, it will blow yours as well. They actually stated that the average repair costs are increasing, and wait for it, the reason they're increasing, they have no apparent reason. So repair costs are going through the roof, and they have these solicitors, these are supposed to be well-educated people, have no idea why repair costs are increasing. You and I, again, have a totally different opinion on that, of course, because the demand on parts, can't get the parts, the prices are going through the roof, the cost of living is going through the roof. So it's quite obvious, especially with electric and gas, that alone for repair centres is forcing costs through the roof. So that alone is going to increase, costs. And that leads me on to something else I want to talk about, and again shortly, is all this free stuff, because the cost of living is going outrageous. The cost of living is getting ridiculous, in fact. So Terry Monaghan, Monaghan, nice to have you on matey. Hope you're well. Let's evening. Insurers do a bit of work, i.e. auto trader, adverts, caps, etc. And the evidence, what the replacement cost is, and then try and settle. They're not allowed to settle below replacement value, or so I thought. Well, very much so, Terry, because most insurance policies will have the market value. I believe that they're going to be changed because insurers are always ahead. And I think we'll find policies where they may have even already twisted that, because you've got the cost of what you've insured it for. So again, let's say I've just bought a car and I've just paid 10 grand. So I'm going to insure it for 10 grand. But then 6 months time, a year's time, how much is that vehicle now worth? We know historically they go down percent, and obviously over time they've been able to work out a percent. And I did years ago do an exercise on that. So it might be 5%, 8%, 10% a month. And that's how the depreciation comes on these assets. But now we know, because of the demand, and it's quite open, that the second-hand vehicles are through the roof. So I believe now, well, I don't believe, I've got the evidence, because I'm having the arguments with the insurers where the vehicle is quite clearly worth a lot more money than they're trying to offer. So it's going to be interesting. These solicitors that I'm telling you about, by the way, they're running our industry. That's my opinion again. And they're advising all these insurers of what they should do and why it's all going wrong. Now, this blew my mind that this solicitor stated that the average repair costs are going through the roof. But I mean, come on. They said for no apparent reason. No apparent reason. They must not be living in the same planet as us, because there's every reason that these repair costs are going up. Ivan, how you doing? Nice to have you tuning in, buddy. So the repair costs are going through the roof, as we all know, because of gas, electric, parts have gone through the roof, staffing's gone through, everything's gone through the roof. But according to these solicitors, these clever solicitors that are now running our industry, there's no apparent reason. But they're saying they have now deployed new strategies to challenging our repair costs, our excessive inflation. Strategies for challenging the charges. So, my friends, it looks like, and this is in the last week. So it looks to me, my friends, as us repairers, we're going to have a very challenging and very fun 2023. Just when we thought everything's going up and things are probably going to get better, we should know we're in the insurance industry. It's not going to get any better. If you've got solicitors that are coming out with comical comments like that, which have been posted out to insurers to say they don't know why the cost of insurers are going up, but they're deploying lots of new strategies to challenge our costs, to basically say that you know, we can't justify our costs. So be prepared, belt and braces, guys. This year is going to be tougher than we think. So this is something I'm going to delve into a lot deeper, because I'm sort of a lot more in depth with both sides of the channel, where a lot of you guys aren't. And I'm going to keep you updated, because I think this is critical. And I think there's a lot of stuff around this that's going to be really, really naughty that's going to be coming out. Credit hire, of course, they really want to knock. But again, before I just drop to the post that I've ran this week, because free, what is free? Before I get there, I've also seen a video. And what's happening now, insurers are sending a video just like this of me sat here telling their customers about independent repair centers. I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to come out with lots more information. So what they do now, the minute their customer has a crash, or probably even before now, they're sending a link to these videos where somebody like me is sat there saying, hi, I'm your insurer. If you've been involved in an accident and you've come across on the website some company that to manage your claim for you, it is not us. And you may get a lesser repair, and you may get, and all you can imagine. I'm going to break it down to what they are saying, because I haven't had time this week, but I am going to break it down to what, and this is how, to what lengths they're going now to get the car back into their own repair centers, where they're going to try and get more reduced costs and just extend the booking in date by 6 to 10 months kind of thing. So that to me is pretty bad. But what I'm going to sort of jump onto now, that is what's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks, lads, guys and girls. We're going to hit a lot of that, because I find it really interesting that it always comes back to us innocent repairers. Don't know how, but this is what's live and going on and happening in this month. These videos, the solicitors saying, wow, Brett, great. I also think it depends on how strong the customer is. Yes, very much. We had a 10-plate golfer at Noff. They initially offered £2,200. The customer sent 3 likes for likes of Auto Trader and settled 3,600 plus 2 child seats. So we're talking there. There's a £1,400 increase from one phone call. And I'm being honest, it's insurers for me. It saddens me that this is what happens to these poor innocent. How many of these people know they can argue it, know how to argue it, and they just accept these poor values? When people need their money, they need to replace their vehicles. That to come to replace that vehicle, it's gone up. This is the way of the world. This is the way insurers work. Yes, you've had it great for the last decades, where vehicles have always depreciated, but now they're not. They're stronger values, and you insure people, so you have to pay them out. Stop these underhanded, horrible, dirty tactics that I'm going to expose over the next few weeks. So it's going to be interesting, guys. Probably going to get myself shot. But anyway, I'm going to bring this live information to you because I just find it disgusting, because ultimately it's going to come back on us because we're the repairer. And I think it's terrible. So I'm going to move quickly on because I don't want to keep you guys too long tonight. Now we're going to jump to, you probably saw some of my posts where I was asking a poll for some information. Big apologies, because I normally copy the poll and bring it live onto the screen, but I didn't get time to do it. So I'm going to try and bring in my LinkedIn page, and I'm just hoping it doesn't do anything with the audio. So we'll try and see. Brett, what's that, buddy? We try and educate the customers to do the same. In most cases, they win. Fantastic. You're very right. What I'm actually proposing, quite happy to do it, is I'm going to sit in this office and I'm going to bring together a video with a link that we can use when a customer's had an accident, because I'm going to do it on every case now. Of course, well, I've got a repair center, but it's going to be impartial. So you can say, it'll be very much that you can send it to your customers to state that we are independent, to state that basically what the insurers are saying isn't actually quite as they're saying it. And to state that, yes, you're welcome to go and join into that, where you'll get a 6-month backlog and someone who's trying to reduce costs to repair a car as economically as they can, where we will do it properly. So there is ways of us hitting back at insurers, and we've got to stay ahead of the game, in my opinion, especially in 2023, when it's quite obvious now. I've seen the evidence. I'm going to share the evidence with you. They're out to attack repairers and excessive repair costs, apparently excessive repair costs. They're saying they're excessive. We say we're still struggling to make money. Wow, that couldn't be more wrong. So yeah, the industry, we've got a tough year coming ahead. So it's going to be, well, I'm going to do everything I can to share with you the stories that I can, to share everything that, will hopefully forewarn and forearm is the old saying, of course. So I'm going to try and do what I can for you guys. And again, I just need you to help me, jump in with me, and join up to eBuyGum. I'm going to challenge lots of things. I promise you. I'll be going to court a lot. I'll be fighting these issues, and I'll get us some wins under our belt, which will change this industry. Should I do that on my own? Should I bear the cost on my own? I don't think so. We're an industry, and that's what this Crash Clinic is all about, us coming together. I'm happy to jump in and take the challenges, because I know a lot about all these issues. So I'm happy to do it. And Gary Kerrigan, nice to see you, buddy. Clients need to make sure they review the vehicle some insured at renewal, as the vehicle is likely to be greater now than last year. Great work, Daz. Yeah, see, Gary, thanks very much for that. That's from an insurance guy. And this is the problem. We know insurers aren't going to want to pay them out. And it's a big issue, because paying out more for the car, I kid you not, they're going to want to try and cut their costs somewhere, and it'll be back at the innocent repair center, as it always is. So, guys, I'm trying to do whatever I can. I can just see the writing on the wall. I can see what's coming, and I want to get you guys, because, again, I want to know the stories you're having. If something comes up, one of your customers is going, unless we share information between ourselves, guys, we're never going to. The reason insurers are ahead of us is because they share information between each other now. They've got all these ways of collating information and evidence, and we've got none, because we've historically we've never talked and we've never shared the information. So come on, guys. I've been doing this now for 6 months. We got to do this, and we've got to come together and share our data and our information. What have the likes of Enbra said about supporting you and the legal challenges? Yeah, Matthew, to be honest, we have spoken. This was just before my brother passed last year, of course, October, and I went off the rails since then. We did have a nice meeting. We had a live one in front of everybody where we actually said we should meet and talk, but we never got round to it because I've been off the rails. It's the worst thing ever happened to me, but I'm back now. So, yep. Hopefully we can have them bring those conversations back up and find out where. If I'm totally honest, Embra, all that, great. I know more than these guys do because I've, like I say, 19, I've had my repair center. I've been on the credit hire side of things. I developed how it runs today. I know my stuff, and I know I can actually put together proper arguments that will win and help the repair centers. Because believe it or not, what I am going to do as well is I'm going to start, not another channel, but I'm going to start bringing in every other week or every 3 a new cast, which is about credit hire industry. You guys are heavily in it, really, because you do. Everybody does repairs and non-fault repairs, but I don't think you know as much about the industry and the pitfalls and the things that are going on, which I think you should, because us repairers should understand it fully. And I'm going to bring you some stuff that's going to blow your mind, where the solicitors, barristers that run these cases and the judges, they don't live in the real world. And some of the outcomes that I've seen and what's happening in the industry is amazing. I mean, let's face it, you can go to court now and a judge will tell the other side what they think the one side should be paying to the other. Oh, no, they should only be paying this for hire. Wow, imagine taking your curry to court and saying I'm only paying this. It's just never going to happen. But insurers get away with it. And they're doing it on repairs now. They're attacking repairers. The thing is, if they win, that's going to slowly bring repair costs. It's going to screw us all. We need to be ahead of the game. And I'm hopefully going to be the key to do that. But I can't do it on my own. I need information from you guys to come back to me to help me even more. But it's going to be, it's challenging times, but let's make it fun. You know what? We've been fighting them all our lives anyway, so let's just put it live on a screen and fight them live. Why not? I don't want to fight them. I want to get on with them. I'm hoping that a few of the fights, they'll realize we're a strong enough arm, that Crash Clinic has now become big enough and strong enough together that they want to talk to us. And we'll get some resolutions, because there are resolutions. There's easy ways of fixing this. I mean, so first thing I would do, but I'd have to prove my method behind my madness, is solicitors, bye-bye. Wow, we've just saved billions of pounds for insurers, for us, for the repair centers, for the customers. But that's because insurers don't think outside the box. Right then, let's try and bring in let's try and bring in a let's try and bring in, I hope it doesn't send everything crazy, because I'm bringing in my yes, it seems okay. We've had no problems with the audio. Yeah, because some of these I find them very interesting, because, and again, so what I've talked about earlier sort of kind of relates to this, and it is interesting stuff, guys. It's stuff that us as repairers need to know. So I hope I haven't bored anyone by going on about that, but the more, I've got to go through certain stages to get us where we're going to stop these people fighting us. Here, it just sort of touched on me again, that I suddenly thought, wow, you know what? Free in this industry again. Let's go back historically. I've been there, 30 years, as people, 35 years, probably people have been there longer. Free. Does your insurer offer you anything free with your insurance, apart from what we give them? So so they're not offering it. We know that when they say free courtesy car, it's us that's giving the free courtesy car. So do they actually give you anything free as a customer, as a consumer? Absolutely nothing. So why do they think it's right that as a repair center, you should give them free recovery, free storage? And this one blows my mind to this day. I'm going to run on these in a moment. So yeah, I'll come to the post. So I started it off with, do you provide, sorry about this, I just got to get the post. Do you still provide free collection and delivery? Because again, we've got little things. I don't know about you guys. I'm not on that one yet. Sorry, I'm way down the list. Sorry there, Terry. I was one of your posts. Here we go. Do insurers deal with total loss claims fast and efficiently? Because that's what we were just touching on. Straight away, we've got 89% of us, and this is repairers. I'm asking the same questions, of course. 89% of us state that they don't deal with them efficiently enough. And I believe at the moment that's because they can't you know, they'd rather argue over a few £100 than deal with it fast and efficient. If they dealt with it fast and efficient, they wouldn't have as much storage and all the charges. They're so slow, they take so long to deal with everything. I think it's outrageous. It seems they're allowing claims handlers to review estimates and reports and offer a really low price. See, these are the things. Well done for that, Ross. It's entirely right. And yeah, I know, but proof of at least 3 major insurers doing this. It's disgusting, really. Like I just tried to say to you, what they're doing is just wrong. We're going to then turn to this is another thing that got me. When you order parts, historically, again, I don't want to bore people, but I'm just trying to get to these kind of points quite quickly. Historically, when I first started in this game, you didn't have to really order, well, you didn't order parts in advance, really, because a car came in and you ordered the parts and they were there instantly, because the big dealerships used to stock parts. They would keep parts on site, pretty much everything. It was only the odd part, and you could repair your cars nice and quickly. Then what happened is the main dealerships didn't want to stock all this money in parts. You can imagine they're all storing £500,000 in parts. And then they got the problem that if a repairer ordered a part but then didn't have the part or sent parts back, and they were ending up getting stuck with lots of parts, and they couldn't afford these losses. So what they did was they said, you know what, forget it. We're going to stop supplying, stop having parts on site. And I'm sure there's many of you out there that have also experienced this if you're an older sort of repair center like I am. So this is main dealerships worth millions of dollars that decided we're not going to store parts anymore. So they then caused another problem, because now, unless you order the parts, they're not going to order them. But guess what? It then falls back to us, the repair center, the poor little repair center again. So it falls back on us that the big multinationals will not order parts and have them on stock. They want us to order them, so they will then order them. So they haven't got this loss in keeping parts on site. But then it falls back to us now. We're the ones under that sort of banner of saying they want us to order the parts and have the problem of having a loss. And that's why I put this one in today, was to say, do you get stuck with any parts that you've ordered in advance? Because the main dealership stopped this many years ago, because they said, we're not going to store parts because it costs us too much money. So now but the emphasis always comes back to the little old repairer. Do you get stuck with any parts? It's 50-50 really. So 50% of people, I've been caught with it before, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last time, and it's going to get worse with the fact of, because it seems more and more cars are getting written off, but insurers and management companies expect us as a repair center to order the parts in advance. So let's say you've got, especially with the lead times are the problem now. If I order 10 grand's worth of parts and they don't come for 2 to 3 months, when do I actually pay for those parts? And now I actually did a court case, and again, this is why I bring this up. In the court case, it was an individual court case, and there was £1,000 in parts. And there was a delay in the repair because the repairer, they saying, why didn't you order the parts in advance? And the judge awarded with it, which they don't live in the real world, but yeah, why didn't you order the parts in advance? Why is it always falling on the repair center? Why doesn't the third party insurer or the insurer fund that or pay that as an interim payment so the repairer can order the parts? Why does all the risk have to fall to the repairer? It annoys me massively, because it seems here that 57% of us are ordering parts in advance. But I just, again, fail to see why we should. Because I was trying to explain, and I'm doing something at the moment, which is a proposal to show a barrister who doesn't live in the real world, or a judge, sorry, that it's not the individual case where I'm ordering £1,000 worth of parts. It's the fact that I've got 50 jobs in. Those 50 jobs end up being £200,000 in parts. I've got another 30 jobs booked in with another 200,000. So you get the picture. We are having all this money outstanding that we're ordering in, and then we get, an argument. We're not paying for that. We're not going to do this. We're not cancelling that. You've got to have it. More and more cars are going to get written off as we go further forward, because it's already happening. You know it's already happening. I know it's already happening. So the situation is going to get worse, and it's annoying me that we have to do this. We are already cutting things tight to the bone. So why should we stump up the funds for a cancelled order and get stuck with it when it could be a few grand? A few grand's a lot of money if it happens 2 or 3 times. But 57% are saying they order them. And obviously now we're getting that 50% are saying they get stuck with them. So that's a bad statistic, in my opinion. Right, we're back to this free stuff now, because again, this is something that historically blows my mind. Free. Why did we do it in the old days? Who started this? We should have throttled them. Insurers don't give you nothing for free, but we've still got 50% of us out there giving free recovery. What's on your mind? Even down to the collection and delivery. For me, I've got 4 drivers, and I'm sure you have, driving, collecting. 50%, 56% are doing that for free. Like Phil says, Phil Shedden, depending on the contract, of course. I suppose on some people would say, depending on the labor rate, as long as I'm getting enough for the job. But I hate all that kind of having to work things into the labor, because it is as it is. You should be able to have a fee that you should be able to, rather than working it into the labor, you should be able to say, I've got 4 drivers, but it's okay, because over the year I charge this much out in recoveries, so I cover their wages. But again, free, it does my head in. No one else I know in any other business gives you this free and that free and this free, and they might give you a sample free or an estimate free, but this is proper working things that we give out free. Do you still provide free collection and delivery? Yes, it's quite sickening, really. Do you still provide free recovery? 50% offer free recovery. You got, if you're outsourcing it, but if you've got a recovery truck, you've got a truck you've got to maintain, insure it. Oh man, it blows my mind. And I don't know what you guys think. I want to know, of course. I'm really interested to know what you think. And this is another thing now, courtesy cars. Do you still provide free courtesy cars? Again, depending on the contract, 75% of us are giving free courtesy cars to get the work. Now, that's bad enough. We all do it. The one that blows my mind is when somebody says, here we go, do you still provide free courtesy cars on your insurance? 55% of us are still doing that. And unless we stick together, the only way we can out these horrendous things, in my opinion, is by sticking together and saying no. Now, 35 years I've been at a repair center. My insurance is a fortune, and I do not give out courtesy cars on my insurance. I refuse to do it. If a contract says I've got to do it, I'm out. Because if you have 2 crashes, 3 crashes, your insurance is going through the roof. So my overhead's going up because I gave a free courtesy car to someone to use on my insurance. The insurance company is an insurance company. To me, it is an absolute mistake if an insurer is asking you to do that. The customer's got his own insurance. The insurer is the insurance company. So why are we being asked to provide insurance? Sorry, it's outrageous. And if you're doing it, I think you need a checkup from the neck up. It is terrible. I really think that is terrible, because a car gets stolen, a valuable car, it's on your insurance. Wow, seriously, shouldn't be doing it. And they shouldn't be asking it, not when they provide insurance as a business. Honestly, it rages me. But still, the amount of us that are doing all these kind of things, and the economy the way it is, and the way we're, it's just mad. It's absolutely mad, honestly. So it looks like I've gone through most of my sort of bugbears this week. Obviously, I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what your bugbears are. Is it just me? Join in. Tell me what you think. There's a lot of stuff in this industry that I dislike. There's a lot of stuff that is going to be happening in 2023. I've just shared with you that insurers are attacking the inflating repair costs. Do you think we're inflating repair costs? I don't. Are we increasing them? Yes, because we're having to save ourselves going bust. But a lot of that is parts are going up, services are going up, paint's going up. Everyone who supplies me as a repair centre, anything, they've increased their costs. So we have to do that. It's quite obvious. But I'm just really intrigued as to why these solicitors who know nothing about the industry, know nothing about repairing cars. I'm not going to tell you the names. I even know who they are, and I'm not going to get sexist. But these are people who have not a clue about the repair industry, and they're trying to tell us that they have no understanding of why our repair costs are going up, and they're going to start attacking our repair costs. So it's going to be a fun year. Now, they're telling them to do intervention. I know how insurers work. They'll be trying to take this through the courts. They'll be trying to get some silly barrister judge who doesn't understand the industry, doesn't live in the real world, doesn't look at this as a scaled business. They look at you repairing one car and one car only, not understanding that we have to work on hundreds of cars. They get a law passed and it affects us quite badly. Now, I'm really intrigued. I think they're going to be hitting this next. And if we jump in before them, or we jump in and get the fights fought before them, which I'm happy to do, like I've said, we're an industry. And we're going to have a hard year ahead of us. Next week, I'll bring some more information about that. And I think it's time to bring back a couple of our friends on so we can get to where we were before the end of the year last year. Hope you found everything today interesting enough, guys. It's stuff that blows my mind. Obviously, each week I'll try and bring you new information. I'd like to get back in touch with Embra to see where they're up to, because it's sort of been October, November, December, January, 4 or 5 months where I've been out of touch, and to find out what's going on in the industry and how we can help. Also, guys, we're in a new, it's a new wave of what's going on. We're into 2023. We know labour rates have gone up quite a bit. We know we've got all these problems. What problems are you having? I don't want to just ask the same questions and the obvious that I know is happening to me. When I put the polls out, I'm interested in what's going on in general, but I'd like to hear from you guys on stuff that's really bothering you. We need to share information about problems, because we can't fix problems if we don't, we don't share them. I'd like to get together, have probably an evening or a weekend where we just have a couple of hours together and have a chat. Let me know if you are interested in that, or whether you'd rather have a Zoom call where we all sort of come in and discuss what's going on from the comfort of our own homes. We've got to start doing this, though, guys, because it's going to be a very interesting year, like I keep saying. I want you to come together, of course, and join into the chats. Let's see what we can do. But I've given you first-hand information that insurers are out to attack us. Quite sad, I know, because we've already been attacked for many, many years. But it's time to stand up and come together, guys. I do have a worry. I know I see Anthony Hurd saying a lot that, no one seems to want to fight in this industry. Is he right? I'd like to think not. But the more and more I'm doing this, I'm kind of thinking he might be right. Is it a time to just look after number one again? But you know what? We do that. That's why our industry is wrong. When you've got people like insurers all sticking together, a big force, and you've got us little independents going, oh, no, but I just want to stay on my own. Well, you are the author of your own failure. So that's my opinion again, of course. Guys, let's talk more. Send me some stuff. If you please join the website as well, because I really am going to try and get that launched. And again, I'll be here next Tuesday to bring you some more interesting information, I hope. I hope you enjoy the stuff I'm bringing on board. I'm going to let you know a little bit more in depth about stuff you don't know about, I hope, and but a lot of information about the stuff you do. All I do know at the moment is we're going to be attacked in 2023. I've read enough proof on that. So we need to, justify even start collating about justifying what we charge and what we do, because insurers don't seem to think, or solicitors are telling the insurers we don't have any justification for the increase in our average repair cost. Again, average repair cost for you guys, if you do your figures and get an average repair cost, I'd be very interested in what your average repair cost is, because the insurers are now saying it's costing them £5,349, or that's one insurer. I'm now trying to find out as much as I can on that. That's gone up massively from 2016 when I did a contract, and they told me that their average repair cost was £789, something like that. It was ridiculous. And I actually said back then, there's no way that's possible. But anyway, let me know what your cost is. Give me the information to bring up, because that will obviously lead to, I'd love to know it, wouldn't you? What do we say the average repair cost is as to what they say the average repair cost is? But again, they're sharing information, we're not. It's a win-win for them. Unless we come together, we're always going to be on the back foot. We're always going to be underneath their decision-making and being bullied from them. So it's time, guys. I've been telling you for ages, it's time to stand up, come together. I hope you're going to join me, and I'll see you next week, of course, for more information on what's going on in the industry. I'm going to try and, I did say I'm going to try and find out more about what they're doing and how they're going to attack us. And we need to stand up for ourselves. So guys and girls, have a lovely weekend or a lovely week. Let's stay in profit. That's the main thing. And please don't forget, if you've just something happens that you don't like, or there's something that you're thinking this isn't really very good in this industry, drop me a message. You drop me a private message and I'll bring it up. I won't say names. I won't bring, oh, this person said this. I'll keep it quiet. But I just think it'd be nice if you give me information. Give me information. That's what I need. I know I've got my own stuff, but as an industry, we need more information. And I hope you understand that, because that's what insurers do. And let's be stronger together. Take care. We'll see you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Tuesday. And drop me some information. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.